Hi guys, Papa with Papaville Trains here again. This time we're going to go over Fastrack and connection problems. Some of the big things I see online all the time are people are saying, you know, I've had my track set up for a while and now I'm getting dead spots. So I'm going to show you what I do to eliminate those dead spots. Hopefully it will help you. Here we go. Okay, so when it comes to Fastrack, there's a couple of things that you need to take care of. One is keep it clean. I don't know if you can tell, this track is filthy. So there's a few different ways you can do it. Some people say use rubbing alcohol, some people say use mineral spirits. A simple Scotch-Brite pad often works pretty good. But you can see this one is kind of on the dirty side. I don't know if you see that or not, but if I were to use a chemical cleaner on it, you'd see it's pretty dirty. So we're going to show you what I do, but keeping it clean, that's number one. Start there. Then if you have problems, you can try, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be soldering wires into the back of it that'll get rid of some of those connectivity problems. So here we go, and we'll show you how it's done. So when you're using Fastrack, there's always kind of connectivity problems. One of the big ones is the pins get bent a little bit, so when you are connecting, you're not getting a real good contact there. If you're doing a temporary layout that you're going to be taking down and putting up a lot, good thing to do, you can just bend these a little bit. Give them a little push down so when you do put them in there, they push against each other a little bit tighter. It's hard to tell, but there is a little tiny bit of a gap in that one. One of the ways I'm going to show you is we're going to be soldering a piece of wire in here underneath for your contacts. That way you get a good solid connection, because when this stuff goes up, it's staying up. Alright, so first off you got to get your wire ready. Great investment. Get yourself some really good wire strippers. I use these things all the time. One of the things that I do is what I'm going to show you here on these, making these leads. I make them ahead of time. These are already made. The wire's been pre-tinned, and these are all good to go. But I'm going to show you how to do it anyway. So it's pretty simple. You're going to put it in at the gauge that you want it, and a squeeze. And how about that? Couldn't get much quicker than that, now can it? So when I first started in trains, I knew nothing at all about how to do soldering. So I watched a couple of YouTube videos and learned. It's amazing what YouTube will tell you. So we're going to take our wire, we're going to add a little flux. That helps the solder. What we're doing here is what's called tinning. So we're going to put the flux in there. It helps the solder actually get into there. So now, hold on. I got a bit of a problem. I got to hold this, I got to hold this, I got to hold this. I made a simple solution. I just took a board, ran a screw through it, alligator clip, and voila, an extra set of hands. So to tin it, we just heat it up and then just touch the solder, and the solder will just get pulled right into it. We'll do the other side. On this side, I didn't have any flux. See how it's not going as well? So, we're going to add the flux to it and watch the difference. And you're touching the heat to the wire, not to the solder. And look at that, it goes right in there nice and quick. And just a touch more. There we go. So that part's that simple. Next we're going to show you how to take care of the track. Okay, so our first wire is going to go for the center rail. These are the pins holding the center rail in. As you can see, or maybe not, but on this one I've already got a little glob of solder on there. This is a track I'd used before. So I'm going to add a little bit of solder onto the other side. We touch and heat up the surface. And then we put our little drop of solder right down on there. The reason we're doing that, it's going to be a lot easier to connect this wire because we already have the solder down there. Now normally I would be using a shorter piece of wire because it's going to sit inside this gap, as you can see. I use pieces that are about just a little bit longer than that one there. So now we're going to attach it. Here again, we're just going to heat that little glob of solder up and put it in there. The outside's done. Same for the other. Now, a lot of guys will tell you you need to get some big, expensive, extra fancy soldering iron. This one I bought as a kit. It came with a tiny little sponge. It came with the flux, and it came with a roll of solder. It was $12 on Amazon. So now I'm going to do the other side because that's our hot. So now we're going to do the ground side. You don't necessarily have to do the ground side because you have two of them. I like to do it anyway, but I'll only do one side of it. So now we have a little bit of that on there. Now we're going to put in our wire. I'm going to heat this side up. And we're going to heat this one up. And bingo, bango, boingo, there we go. It's done. That doesn't look great. I mean, obviously, I'd use a little bit shorter wire just to tighten that up. And then I would take a small piece of tape just to hold the wires down in that little notch. Now, some Fastrack does not have this little notch on the end. Can you see that? Doesn't have that. So what I've had to do in some cases is take a Dremel and just cut a little spot there, because otherwise when your wire goes through it doesn't sit flat. So hopefully you're able to see that. But yeah, it's that simple, and there you go. You got a piece of track that's ready to go. We'll do this. I'll connect 4 to 5 sections and run a bus line to it. Each 4 or 5 sections that I've connected together all have bus lines. I mean, you could buy just a 30-inch track, but you go with what you got, and this is what I got. Hopefully this helps you guys. Alright guys, I hope that helped you with your problems with your Fastrack. I mean, it works for me, so you gotta do what you gotta do. It's a cheap way to fix them. Easy way. When I first started, I knew nothing about how to solder. Watched a couple videos. You know, it's easy to do. It's not a difficult task at all. So, hopefully what I've shown you today helps you out. If you want to make a comment, leave a comment. Like it. Please subscribe. I would love to get more subscribers to my channel. And you have yourself a wonderful day. Choo-choo!